Here are 10 top small business ideas to work from home with a European twist. Let's talk about it now! Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to the channel Ask Me Startup, where we talk about startups, small businesses, and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell because it really helps this channel to grow. If you're into business, if you plan to start a business, if you have a small startup, please feel free to download my free startup checklist, link in the description below. So today I want to talk to you about top small business ideas to work from home with a European twist. Now, let me start, please, with some words of wisdom, because many people believe that they can just start any small business from home that they've heard of, maybe in the US, maybe in Asia, doesn't matter where. But people then go, okay, I'm just going to do the same thing in Europe. Now, please remember, Europe isn't as homogeneous as the name might suggest. Reality is, the European Union consists of 24 different languages. That means you have to translate everything you do in either 24 languages, but even if you do so, the things people like vary as much as they have languages. Maybe even more. What I mean by this, you have different cultures everywhere around the corner in Europe and different pros and cons that people like, different things that they feel for. That makes life very complicated. So a European market isn't as homogeneous as the name suggests and fragmented. Is that a challenge? Yes, it is. Is it good or bad? Well, that depends on your skills, I would say. Just be aware, like, for instance, if you are in the newspaper industry. Let's take 20 Minutes. So it's a very popular newspaper across all of Europe, but they have a different language for every section of their market because the news are different, the language is different, the things people are interested are different. So whatever you do on the European side, take that into consideration when you want to start a business. That makes it maybe easier sometimes to choose a larger market like Germany, because then at least you have Germany and Austria with the same language, roughly around 90 million people. Or you're choosing the UK, which isn't part of the European Union anymore, but then at least you can talk to almost all the younger people in Europe, talk to the Irish people. I mean, everywhere where English is spoken as a primary language. Nonetheless, don't forget that there are still some subtle differences in the culture of the people you're trying to address. So let's go with small business idea from home. Number 1, web design. There are so many small businesses in Europe that actually are in need of proper web designers and they can't do it themselves. Listen, I have my own website and it's terrible. I know, I just picked some stuff and I've never ever updated it, which means I would be in need of a web designer. Web designers are in demand everywhere, but you need to have a local focus because people want to know or talk to people that they know or other people in their business surroundings trust. In the Facebook groups I'm in, for instance, in the area in Switzerland where I live, there's every second day the question of somebody asking or looking for a web designer. But they're not looking for someone from India. They're not looking for someone from Japan, China, it doesn't matter. They might be looking for someone from Germany. They might be looking for someone from Switzerland. Depends on their price sensitivity. But they're looking for someone that has had recommendations within their local communities, who understands the needs of the customers these small businesses are trying to address. If you're one of those people, this would be your first small business to try. Small business idea number 2 to work from home, virtual assistant. Now that might seem as an obvious choice for many, but it isn't really that much evolved yet in Europe. Nonetheless, people that have small businesses, people that are very busy, need help. Can they afford a personal assistant all the time? No. That's why virtual assistants are very, very useful and helpful, specifically if they speak more than one language. Because very often, business owners, for instance, do not speak proper English, so they need someone to help from, let's say, French, Italian, German into English. But they also need someone to just take care of their part, or the business parts that they want them to take care of, let's say, 30% of the time. So a full-fledged assistant isn't maybe worth paying for, but a virtual assistant who's only there as a part-time would perfectly work. Also, this is a, let's say, rather new concept for many, because still people like to handshake, people want to gather with other people. But a virtual assistant has so much more benefits to those people of local businesses being in need to travel or organize a lot of things from all over the world. Small business idea to work from home, number 3, freelance writer. Now, if you're very skillful in writing text, if you're very skillful on your grammar, in the way you express yourself and the world and subscribe the things you want to describe, this will be a top small business for you. Now, of course, the same things go true as for all the other small businesses. You have to have a local touch. You have to understand the local needs for the customers and consumers reading the text. Many small businesses need blogs. Many small businesses need additional information on the websites, and they can't do it themselves. Because if they start writing, they're terrible at it. Copywriting, all these things are essential skills for people writing text for other people, and the demand is high. It's just that many small business owners are actually not really aware of it. But then, if you make them or show them what you can do, I'm pretty sure you have the chance of your life, because those people actually need that help, because they are aware that more and more people are looking online first, even in the local area, to check out their websites and the content and their know-how. Which brings me to the next small business from home, social media manager. Now, it's much easier to do that in the US because, of course, language more or less is the same, let's say English and Spanish. Social media manager on a local scale is easy as well because it's most of the time just one language. Can be any of those that you choose. But it could be that, for instance, like in Switzerland, you have to do the same social media in 3 to 4 different languages. Now in Switzerland, that would be French, German, and Italian, and maybe some retro-Romansk. But that already shows you that there's more complexity to it than you initially think. That's the reason why social media managers are needed. Furthermore, there is an abundance of social media platforms and nobody knows where to go, especially small businesses have no idea and they have no time to deal with it. Some of them try and very often tell people, look, your business is like screaming to go, for instance, for Instagram because it has a very visual effect to it. Now, all these things you need to understand as a social media manager and then help them to grow their business. And please, just as a small hint, if whatever you do, this should be with a focus to boost your customer's business, because that's the best job guarantee you can get. The next small business idea from home is a cybersecurity manager. I think due to the fact that we have had more and more cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, on businesses themselves, people are more and more aware that they need help. And that is a very, very complex topic not everybody is capable of dealing with. Again, language barriers might come into place, but I think if you prove to be one of the best agents to help people protect themselves against any cybersecurity threats, this is going to be a very sustainable, very good business on the long run. More and more businesses are afraid of the costs involved after an attack, so now is the time to really show them how you can help them prevent this from ever happening. Small business idea number 6 from home, translator. This is such an essential task to do, and I'm sorry to say Google Translate is rubbish. It works somewhat, and very often I read websites from businesses trying to pitch to me, and I go like, come on, why have you ever even tried to translate it with Google Translate? And I know your website is rubbish, which tells me already that you're not paying attention to the details of your website, which means you're not paying attention to the details of your products. If you put the same type of attention to your website than to your products, I'm more likely to believe your message, to bring it to me as a customer. Many people don't get it. Hence, translators that do a proper, thorough job translating from German to, let's say, Italian, French, whatever, or English, are very, very much in demand. And those businesses have been growing forever. Maybe you have a niche know-how, let's say in the pharmaceutical industry or in the electronic industry. Doesn't matter. Then you're even better off explaining the topics to other people in other languages. Small business idea number 7, video production. Now you might go, wait a minute, there are so many YouTube videos, why would anybody need video production? Reality is, customers these days are not capable or willing to read instruction manuals. What they do, they look up YouTube videos in order to figure out how something works. This is the most obvious thing to do these days. From my side, I can already tell you that customers who watch videos are much more satisfied than those reading the instruction manual. Hence, video production is in more and more demand, and small businesses, specifically those that want to show how certain things work, how their product actually should be handled, are in need of videos. Can they do it themselves? Well, everybody got a smartphone, they can do some sort of video. But if you want to do videos that stick with customers, you need a professional. You need people with video editing skills. Hence, this small business idea is one of the better ones and more consistent ones in the future. Small business idea number 8, interior decorator. COVID and the pandemic has changed everything. And the Europeans having more home office than ever in their whole lifetime. That means that they're spending more time at, let's say, furniture or arrangements they don't necessarily find very attractive. Hence, the demand for interior decorators has skyrocketed like crazy. It's almost impossible to find them these days with availabilities. Here you go again. If you have some local touches and some very good aesthetics, people will hire you for sure. This, of course, is not true for everybody, right? So you need people with a certain income. But those people that work from home, most of the times have very well-paid jobs. Hence, they have the capability to pay. And they are in need because they're looking at this 24/7 that they might not be totally happy with the interior design currently. Small business idea from home number 9, photographer. Sounds very obvious if you go to the video, but also nice images and pictures of your products, your services are essential for customers to stick. These days where you can swipe very fast on the phone just from one picture to another, if I don't have something that stands out, it's difficult. Am I capable of doing this? Maybe, but a professional should have the focus of dealing with these things in very, very specific manners so that he knows what drags attention of their potential customers. Hence, this is a perfect business to start from home because you can order those or let those products be sent to you, have a small photo studio at home, and do incredible images for your customers. And last but not least, a business many people wouldn't maybe consider as a business, but it is being a landlord. Now, that of course requires a substantial higher upfront investment than any of the other businesses, but it is something you can do from home. If you have the financial means, it is one of the most sustainable and easy, maybe not easy, but one of the most sustainable businesses you can deal with because the demand for rental properties, of course, depending where they are located, will never cease. It will never stop. That means that if you have the possibility to do so, this could actually be a side business. Like if you only have 2 or 3 or maybe 5 flats that you're renting out. And I'm not talking about Airbnb, which would require a much higher input from your side because the short-term rentals, you have to deal a lot with cleaning, payments, and et cetera, et cetera. But if you talk about long-term rentals, yeah, they might not have as high as a profit margin on them, but it is way less stress on yourself. So these were my 10 small business ideas for working from home with a European twist. I need to tell you though that whatever you do, just don't work from home and not change anything at home. So you should have a dedicated space where you do that work from because it helps you to focus. It kind of sets the mental part of you in that mood that you're actually working on something professional. Because otherwise you do the stuff in the same lazy fashion as you would do it on a regular basis when you have your free time. And that, for any business success, is not helpful. If you have additional business ideas that you think are very profitable to work from home in Europe, please drop a comment down below. I'm really looking forward to these insights and some discussions with you. If you made it so far in this video, please subscribe because it really, really helps this channel to grow. I thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to see you next time.